Hi everyone, I'm Danielle Daughtry Sanford. Like, subscribe, and share. Check out my featured channel area. The focus topic for today is IBD, Inflammatory Bowel Disease. According to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta website, this is a direct quote, "What is inflammatory bowel disease, IBD? Inflammatory bowel disease is a chronic, long-lasting disorder that causes inflammation in the small and large intestines. It is one of the most common chronic diseases among children and teenagers, affecting an estimated 4 in 1,000 children. Two of the most common types of IBD are Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Because Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are so similar, they are collectively referred to as IBD. What is Crohn's disease? Crohn's disease is a recurring inflammatory disease of the GI tract. Symptoms include pain in the abdomen, bloating, diarrhea, and fever. Patients often notice these symptoms between the ages of 15 and 25. What is ulcerative colitis? Ulcerative colitis is an inflammatory disease of the GI tract that's characterized by ulcers that form on the innermost lining of the colon. Symptoms include diarrhea, blood or mucus in the stool, fatigue, loss of appetite, and weight loss. Patients may also experience fever or anemia. I'm going to give you some websites you may refer to for more information about the focus topic. Be sure to go to the description area of this video for more information. Check out the following websites for more information: Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, National Library of Medicine, Mayo Clinic, School Nursing 101, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. I'm going to share information created by Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. But first, let me share information from a peer-reviewed article. Direct quote, January 15th, 2019. Impact of education on school nurses' knowledge of inflammatory bowel disease. This is an abstract. The background and aims. School nurses' knowledge of inflammatory bowel disease, IBD, has not been evaluated. We aim to investigate school nurses' knowledge of IBD and determine whether education could improve this knowledge. The methods. School nurses were invited to complete self-reported questionnaires on IBD. Then, IBD specialists from tertiary referral hospitals provided a 60-minute lecture with educational brochures on 2 occasions with a 3-month interval. Within 6 months after the educational interventions, school nurses were asked to complete the same IBD questionnaire via email. The results. Among 101 school nurses who were invited to participate, 54 nurses, that's 53.5%, who completed 2 consecutive questionnaires were included in this study. Most nurses, 81.5%, reported that the educational intervention was helpful for managing students with abdominal pain or diarrhea. Conclusions. There is room for improvement in school nurses' knowledge of IBD. A systematic educational program on IBD should be implemented for these nurses. Now let us move on to the fact sheet from Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. There is so much information. I'm going to share some of the highlights. These are direct quotes from the reference. The symptoms of inflammatory bowel disease can be unpredictable and may vary in severity. Children with IBD may miss school for medical appointments, illness, disease flare-ups, or treatment side effects. At the same time, they are still responsible for learning and completing their schoolwork. To help students with IBD achieve their academic goals, it is important to have a school accommodation 504 plan. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation recommends that all students with IBD have a 504 plan in place at the beginning of the school year, even if they are feeling well. Your child can be symptom-free or in remission at the beginning of the school year, but could experience active symptoms flare up later in the school year. Just because you have a plan in place does not mean your child must use all the accommodations. Next, what is a 504 plan? Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is a law which protects civil and constitutional rights of persons with disabilities. Students with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis are protected under this for having a chronic illness. This is because IBD impacts at least one major life activity, using the restroom or toileting, and can cause a substantial limitation in the student's ability to achieve their academic goals. A 504 plan is an action plan developed by the school, the parents/guardians, and the student. The aim is to prohibit discrimination against students with disabilities so that they may achieve their academic goals. It should contain a list of accommodations or adjustments required by a child with IBD to ensure that they are treated fairly and have the same access to quality of education as other students. This law typically applies to public schools, but it can also apply to private school if the school receives federal funding. Next, what is an IEP? An IEP is an individual education plan. It's established for a child who has an intellectual or learning disability and requires specialized education and related services. Requirements for an IEP are determined by the U.S. Department of Education and are based on the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. The IDEA process is more involved than Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act and may require additional documentation. And that acronym is often referred to as IDEA. Next, what is the difference between an IEP and a 504 plan? If your student has an IEP for special education and also has IBD, the 504 accommodations related to their IBD will be incorporated into the IEP. Next, what types of accommodations can be helpful for students with IBD? The types of accommodations that can be helpful really depend on your child and their needs. Commonly requested accommodations include unlimited restroom access, stop the clock testing, options to make up missed class time for medical appointments and illness without penalty, tutoring after a specific period of absence due to disease flare-up, full participation in extracurricular activities even after classroom absences. Next, learning from home. Here are some accommodations that may be helpful. Having permission to turn off or stay off camera if they are not feeling well, being able to use the bathroom during class, which may involve leaving and rejoining the online classroom without the teacher drawing attention to the student. Agreeing upon a code word or notification that the student can use in a private chat to alert the teacher that they need to leave for a medical or bathroom need. If the student needs to miss class due to medical needs, the lesson/classwork can be made available to the student to learn on their own. That was all a direct quote. Here are some more examples of other information that were in the brochure. Here are examples of other information. What are some of the do's and don'ts of creating a 504 plan? Can your child get accommodations for College Board, i.e. PSAT, SAT, ACT, etc.? Can college students receive accommodations, brochure information, and much more? For more information, check out the websites I mentioned. You may also check out the video description area. Thank you, and until next time.